revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Where there's people, there is power. Justice in our time.
Good evening, everyone. Equal Start is back with a panel today, and we're going to be discussing Gary Neville's comments from a few weeks ago about racism within the UK since Brexit and how we've become a nation divided since this economic strife and the changing of the guard since Labour coming, and with the latest developments around the stabbings on Huntingdon and the stabbing last week in London. We just wanted to get into it to see why the press is framing violent crimes around ethnicity and gender. Is it a divisive thing? Or is it something that they're really concerned about when it comes to immigration and the global majority in this country? So today we have my cousin's back, Jason, and we have a Mr. Troy Williams who's come to chop it up with me. So tell me, fellas, what do you think? What do you think? You think this is all, a cock and bull story, or these are serious concerns that we have to look at in order to prevent, these kind of attacks? Or you just think it's economic strife and it's one of those things that happen when people lose their cool or they're mentally disturbed?
Well, the recent attacks last week in Cambridge, from what I've seen online and what appears to have transpired, is that male appears to have mental health issues. I think there was instances before. I think I saw it in a barbershop or something before he had gone on to carry out those stabbings in Cambridge. I'll be real. As soon as it was reported and they said, one black British, one black Caribbean, I just thought, oh, God. I'm not gonna lie, I was just like flipping. There we go. I live in the sticks and I've got a 20-year-old son. And my first thought was like, you know what? You're not walking around here on your own. I'm gonna come pick you up from a station, because where I live, there's a lot of these English Union Jack flags, which, as you know, I've got no issues with anybody trying to show their patriotism or their pride in their country, but I think we all know this is very political. This is to kind of send out a message to certain communities that either you're not welcome here, or basically what time it is, especially with the rhetoric that's been ramped up by people like Farage, Reform, and Tommy Robinson. But I'll say that issue with regards to what happened in Cambridge is definitely is non-economical, but it was something that the mainstream media and I believe certain political figures were hoping to exploit. That's my 2 pence on it for now.
No, I agree. I do.
I 100% agree.
Now, how come? Why, cuz? Why do you agree?
Yeah, similar to what Troy said, just literally it's just an agenda being pushed because of, can you swear on here? How shit the country has been at the moment. So I think they're just trying to just have someone to blame for everything, essentially. So yeah, it's just very vile way of doing things, and obviously people are just now just running with it, and which is why the union flags are now going up, the English flags are now going up. Because even where I live, like near Erith, it's like you see it everywhere now. So it's obviously they are trying to force an issue and paint a picture like, yeah, this is a reason why we're doing this. It's not just because it's patriotic or anything like that. It's literally just to send a message.
Yeah, I think so as well. But I spoke to someone, was it yesterday, that I used to do, not reporting on, but we was in this kind of group where we were trying to unite. Basically, they said black and white unite, and they were called Hearts of Oak. And I used to clash with them regular, and he was telling me, Sean, are you going to come to Southampton? And I said, what, on a Sunday? He said, "Yeah, it's Remembrance Sunday. When you come down there, I want to show you some of the guys that kind of celebrate with when we have that this time of year about the war and that." And he said he's got a feeling that he's going to be hijacked by the Muslims or by Palestinian supporters, Action Palestine. So I said, yeah, I don't think they'll do that. I said you might see them grumbling and talking about the Zionism in Israel, but I don't think they'll. I've never seen them ever try to hijack a Remembrance Sunday Day because all types of people fought for Britain during that war.
Yeah.
So yeah, so from all over the Commonwealth. But you showed me some other videos and some kind of audio from when he used to, because he used to be do a lot of Tommy Robinson's camera work. So
Oh,
he told me he's falling out with him now because he said the right has been hijacked by obviously by extreme views, prejudice. With that, they don't care where you're from. If you're not white, you're not been in this country more than 2 generations. They're saying we're not having you as one of us. So he said that's why he's going independent now to go down there to celebrate, but also to see if there's any trouble. So I said, be careful, if you're doing all that and because you're not too well physically, they might run over you. And he said, no, he don't care as long as he's got his camera out and he gets their face. He wants to expose a lot of them. So you can see, even though to me, he's reasonable because we used to clash about the black and white thing all the time. He didn't like Family Forever. After the George Floyd incident, when he had that Sasha Johnson and Brixton going with the black berets, going like they were like the new Black
yeah,
Panthers. He was like, Sean, I don't like that black militancy. How can you be born over here and be carrying on like that, dressing up like that and in the streets and then saying, "Our family forever, no justice, no peace." So Black Lives Matter is not the way to go. It's just a divisive thing. It's identity politics. So I said, yeah, fair enough. I can see why that, but I don't think like 30 people in Brixton wearing stab-proof vests, unarmed with black berets, saying family forever and no justice, no peace is gonna upset the establishment or lead to rebellion where the minority is gonna take over England. I don't think that will happen. So we used to go back and forth, argue. I think to be fair though, what I liked with him is that when I challenged and pressed him, he didn't scarp off and hide and like, oh, I just don't want to talk to you no more. Oh, I'm finished with you. You're prejudiced. You're part of the problem. He used to say, "Oh, you know what? I see what you're saying," and I said, "Yeah, of course, and I can see what you're saying. Marginalized, working class, white boys at school, not getting the same amount of education, not them the same amount of political support. I can understand that." I said, "That is obvious when you look into it, and you've given me the resource information that I've read. That is quite plain." But I said at the same time, you have to accept that the microaggressions against black and Asian people in this country, and even minority whites from like Eastern Europe, from Poland and Romania, they get pillaged,
mm,
coming over here, earning too much, taking our jobs, undercutting us. I said, yeah, but they work harder and they have more children. So if we're having less children over here in the UK, we're aging population and we're struggling economically, who do you think is going to do the labor? We got to have someone picking the strawberries, sweeping the streets, and building our homes. And if
mhm.
certain men over here are not prepared to work for certain money or do certain of the donkey work, we have to import people, isn't it? This is something that both parties do, Conservatives and Labour, and that's been the pattern since the day I was born. So why would that be a thing? So he said, "Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, but I still don't like it, especially the Muslim thing." So I said, "Yeah, but that sounds like the remnants of your time with Tommy taking over your mind." But I told him I couldn't come today because I was going to Hackney to this food market with the kids and their mum. So I said, yeah, that can't work. That can't work. So I said, yeah, maybe next time. I said, yeah, maybe we'll see. So that's what's going on really. Even with people that I know, they're still on this not enough housing, not enough jobs, and they're taking up public services. So the waiting list at the NHS is too long, and it's foreigners stopping my nan or my child getting treated because they're prioritizing basically illegals coming over on the small boats.
That small boats, man. I'll be real. That's one of the biggest propaganda coups in recent times. Small boats, small boats. What's the other one they use? Men of fighting age,
Mm.
as if there's an invasion. Men of fighting age, as in men. The subtleties of
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
These men are coming over to invade and fight against us. Oh gosh.
yeah, no.
But
It's
it's
both
fine now
really.
because obviously you've got the Labour Party now picked up on it.
Mm.
You
Hmm.
know, they now adopted that.
You know why they've done that? Because they're frightened of the rise of reform. Because
Yeah,
according to the opinion polls, reform would get in tomorrow. And I was
that's
shocked. I said,
right.
that can't be
That's
right. That
right.
must be propaganda. But it looks so. I've
It
seen
does
three or
look
four
so.
sources now saying basically reforms ahead of Labour and the Tories.
Yeah, I think everybody's fed up with this, the established parties, you know what I mean? But, you know, like, I'm one who likes to study history, and people say history repeats itself. I say human behavior repeats itself, and it's nothing new. Whenever
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
there's tough,
Yes.
tough economic times, high unemployment, people are just fed up of the political, and there's poor economic climate. This is when
Hmm.
populism rise. People come out, say the right things, or tell people what they want to hear, and blame minorities or immigrants, or like in the case of 1930s
Mm.
Jews. So it's just, yeah, it's, you can call this repeating itself. Human behavior is repeating itself, but we're going down a very slippery slope.
So you see with the framing, see, like you said, it was a black person because at the time, because of the newspaper reports, they only showed the emergency services at the scene. So I said, "Oh, is it a white person?" Because it's usually if it's a black person, instantly, like with that last one, the one that stabbed the three the other day,
Hmm.
they would instantly plaster them on the front pages. But because they had the generic scene, crime scene, and just people, emergency services in high visibility jackets and uniform, I thought, oh, it's probably one where they're trying to swerve the kind of ethnicity trap. But then I see today they said, yeah, he was black as well, Caribbean, and the other one's black British.
Sorry,
So
did you say something
they're
happened
gonna they're
today?
gonna, they're gonna
Sorry,
use.
did you say there's an event incident today?
No, there's one. The you see on the newspaper reports, they finally
Oh,
release this fella's face, the one that done the stabbings on Cambridge.
oh,
Came
okay,
on the
yeah,
train to is it to Huntington then? Yeah, so
Huntington,
I
yeah,
said
yeah.
yeah, so why don't they usually they would put that straight away. So I said maybe I was over the top and being too sensitive about it. 'Cause I said yeah, they usually they would have released that straight away once they arrest the suspect and they got someone banged to rights on camera or
Remember,
something.
they'll say there was two individuals. They'll say there was two black guys,
Yeah,
and
see.
I was worried at first. I thought, flipping hell, man, is this some? I don't know. Is this some joint stabbing or what? I don't know.
Mm,
Terror attack. But I'm glad it transpired. There was one guy. Obviously, I'm not happy it's happened, but and you can see the guy's got mental health issues. You know, I don't know if and you guys saw the incident of him outside the barbers. I think he
Yeah.
was talking to something or someone or to some spirit he saw. He's not. You can see he's unhinged, and he just goes into the barber shop in there. And
mm,
apparently, I think allegedly he had attacked a 14-year-old early that day or
mm.
something. So,
Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna. I don't know how they're gonna resolve this though, because like you said, in times of these kind of strife, they set one against each other. So government
that's
can
right.
bring
But what's
policies
more
that.
dangerous is the social media. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? You know, you could look. We're using social media now. You know, to
Mm,
have a discussion, and you know, you could put forward your ideology or what is your advocate, what you are advocating. But then you've got people who are charismatic and just it's a medium these days where it's just so easy to lie, manipulate, gaslight, put out false information, tell people what they want to hear, and that just gains so much traction. And I think that in the mix is lethal.
yeah,
And
it's definitely
I
it
think
is.
it's definitely contributing and adding to the polarization amongst us. You know, I don't
Mm.
know if you guys are aware. There's currently something being pushed now by that black influencer. What's her name? Elaine the Pain.
No, I'm not.
I
I'm not
don't,
aware of
yeah,
it.
I don't, you aware of that with the South Asian community with regards to boycotting Asian businesses and buying black, and that's causing a bit of issues now as well. I think the timing of it. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, there has been history amongst ourselves, black community and Asian community for many years in Birmingham. I'm not saying it's been something that's been significant, but it has been there. But the timing of this is just like it's not the
Yeah, it's
time.
clumsy. You can't do that after
Yeah, so
proper
I'll send you
stabbing
some
start happening.
information if you guys are not aware of it.
Elaine the pain, and you said she's Asian.
No, she's black. She's a
Oh, she's
black
like,
girl. You
oh,
must know
okay,
that. She's
okay.
Caribbean. She's very, yeah. She's an influencer, and she went
Okay.
on some
Yeah,
podcasts.
I've
She
never
went on
known.
actually. She went on Your Eyes Could Never, and
Oh
that's where.
yes, sorry, yes, I do know her. I've seen her twice over the last month. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, yeah, I've seen it. I do know. I've just never recognized the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see what? You still follow the aunties could never.
No, I don't. No, no, no. What it is, I've been sent what's gone on with the lane. I don't follow them. Not in a bad way. I just don't follow them.
Mm,
But I saw what had happened. I've been shown it. Been sent some posts, and yeah. So I've just seen what happened. How the fallout occurred.
mm. Now, to be fair, obviously, socioeconomically, fun enough, we have to improve because if we control our own pounds, yeah, and we build up the kind of institutions and kind of business and media capacity that we own, not we don't manage or shopkeep it. We actually control and own. That is the way that we can kind of push back against the propaganda, and then we
Mm,
can't be paid off either with bribes to promote an agenda where they said, "Oh, you know what? I can make myself money and separate myself from the pack and be, up in the master's house, being an overseer." So if we do that, she's right. We wouldn't have to be in the position. It wouldn't be such a concern
yeah,
because there's a different power dynamic. We're always going to take the short end of the stick, or draw the short straw. So yeah, it's something that has to be done. I agree with that though. We do need improvement in terms of our economic strength because with economic strength we can have the kind of services and institutions that we want that represent us without
yeah.
having to be watered down or having to make ungodly compromises. And we was talking about that the other day, fun enough, at that talk I went on with Sedulous about decolonizing research and having our opinion in around the table with the decision makers. And I said it can't be in the consultation process. It's got to be one where we have veto powers or we're part of the decision making and decisions can't be made without us. That is the only time that you will see real change outside of, exceptional individuals that might have, made large sums of money from business or sports or become a celebrity, which is higher profile that takes, the kind of focus of the politicians. And because they're highlighted, they were seen as the community leaders. And then a lot of them went once they're in those positions, they said, listen, I'm different from the rest, so I'm not about that. As long as I'm okay, I'm not bothering with the rest. And then it becomes like a crabs in the barrel effect. So yeah, I agree with her with that. We do need to do better, but it's the timing, isn't it?
I think
You
it's the
don't,
timing and the
yeah.
delivery as well.
Mm. It's true. It's true. It's true. But what with Gary Neville, you got pillaged for all that though, saying that it's down to middle-aged white men. They're basically saying he's a sellout.
Yeah,
He's
I
turned
can
on his
imagine.
community and he's a champagne socialist.
Probably call him woke as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Woke,
yeah. No, that.
liberal, you name it.
Yeah, I told him that the other day. That woke thing is old. They said we haven't said that from like what for I know it as a wholesale in the community since about 2017. After Get Out,
Mm,
that film with Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah, yeah.
He's got that white lady and he's kind of like a thriller. Yeah, so from then we don't really say that anymore. I don't know
mm.
why you lot have taken it and run with it and seen it as like you're up with the latest affairs. So we've let go of that. It's been nearly 10 years since we stopped saying that collectively. So it's so bad that you've turned it into like a pariah.
I think the
But
right
it
use
won't
it
happen.
more. I think the right use it more now.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The right use. Yeah, of course, the right use it all the time. I don't never
Use
hear
everything. They just use it
Labour MPs say that.
interchangeably. Everything's just woke.
Mm. Yeah, anything about social justice or like
Woke. Yeah,
yeah,
woke.
government-owned institution and public services, they're like, yeah, woke, 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 woke. Anything to do with equality, woke. Anything to do with feminism, woke. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
so
all
yeah,
amalgamated into one now.
mm, yeah. Well, to be fair, in my lifetime, most governments has always been Tory. They've had the longest run. So the way I see it, the country as ideologically is centre right. And when we have these, aberrations of Labour government for more than any length of time, then you're talking about people just fed up with the financial mismanagement and the economic strife. That's the only time we really switch and try. And then look, we're going to a Labour party that is embracing a lot of kind of reform rhetoric, Tory rhetoric from the past, in order to try and secure their power base, and they're alienating their hardcore voters. So I don't know if Starmer's trying to do a Bill Clinton ways. He's saying, they say triangulation, so they get voters from every faction by, switching up what they say to the public, because that's the only way they're going to get enough votes to stay in power. So I got a feeling that's what it is when they do that.
They're hating on both sides now. The right hate
Mm,
Labour and the traditional left hate Labour.
mm,
So I don't even know what they stand for. But I've always said that even individually, anybody who doesn't stand with no principles and just like I do it, just changes
mm.
and just
Yeah, keep in
adopt
mind.
anything that's popular, the
I agree.
worst.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But I think that's the thing of politics anyway, because you saw the other day in Prime Minister's questions where Cameron Badenoch told that the Zora Sultana, that firebrand backbencher for Labour that switched to team up with Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah.
And she's saying your politics is student politics of university, protest politics. That's not the politics of government. So
Mm.
you know what they're saying there? Said you can have them kind of principles only because you haven't got power. But once you get into the hot seat, you won't be carrying on like that, which it seems to be most politicians do that. It's very rare I see them come in and said, look, manifest the pledges, we'll break none of them and we'll do everything we say. They always say when they get into power and they see the books and the state of the finances of the country, that they have to change tack. And it says, come on, you can't be duped by the same thing as voters. I telling even Zero News, you can't be duped by the same rhetoric. So we've lived long enough now to realize the pattern of behavior. War, civil strife, economic downturn, have the working class of the serfs fighting amongst themselves for scraps. We feed them what they want to hear, confirm their biases, and then we get on with running the country. While we're raising the cost of living and putting them under more pressure to work longer. Yeah. But
Still
at the same
independent
time,
as
cutting
well.
back on public services. I said, you must see that, but it's like people have a short-term memory or myopia.
Hmm.
So it's been. What do you think, Cuz?
Yeah, I mean, going back to the Gary Neville thing, it's kind of like I'm trying to understand why he even really came out with such a statement. Not that obviously it's wrong or right. It's just seen as like his position that he's in, as he's a rich middle-aged white man. It's a bit
Mm,
confusing, like why he's
mm,
even come out with stuff like that, and especially in the industry he's in, where middle-aged white men are the ones that go to the football games more so. Um, Obviously, he runs a football club at Salford. Is he?
Salford, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just very strange comments from him. Like I expected it to come from someone, but not from like him. Does that make sense? Like I'm just trying to understand like where that's come from and why he's doing that. Because obviously now that the agenda now is like, okay, as soon as an ethnic person does some type of violence, it's going to refer back to this. Refer back to his comments. It's going to be like, okay, Gary Neville, can you explain this? Why is it this black man has gone out stabbing people, and can you explain this? It's just going to just cause him more hate. In a
I don't
sense.
think he cares, though. I don't think he cares.
Yeah, of course not. Because
He's
he lives
thin.
in his little village somewhere. You don't. He's away from the ethnics in a way. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm,
he don't care. But it's just a bit weird how it's come out, and obviously now it's just going to be pushed the agenda even more so. Like, yeah, all these ethnics are doing this and doing that and stabbing this person, and it's just very strange comments from him. I would not expect that from him, to be fair.
yeah. Now, to be fair, since he's become like a reporter journalist, he's said a few comments that obviously is more connected to Labour policy than it is to Tory policy. And
Yeah,
obviously he's saying where he grew up, even though he's okay now financially, and he's joined, the elites in terms of finances and his net worth. He's still saying in his heart and his principles and ideology that he's still a Labour man, because
yeah,
obviously Labour was supposed to be the party of the workers, the
yeah,
working
yeah.
class. So I think that's why he said that. But did you see Joey Barton pilled him? Joey Barton was slagging him off on his podcast, saying, "No, basically,
Again, he's another one that pushes that agenda, though, isn't it?
yeah,
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 I'm not
yeah."
surprised with Joe Biden at all.
Yeah, it's like no one rates him. Let's be real. So
You'd be
yeah,
surprised, I thought that, but when I see his thing with that, what's that fella that he does his podcast with now? They've got uh, a f- they've got quite a few subscribers. And
What?
and Simon Jordan was kind of backing him the other day. You know, the Crystal Palace man saying about Gary Neville is living in lofty towers and he's detached from reality. He can say
Yeah, well, I
anything.
mean, as I say, but these angry white men are the ones that he's talking about, isn't it? The ones that putting up the English flags and whatever. So they feel offended with that. Like he's calling them out. You know what I'm saying? So they're just pushing that agenda now.
Yeah, it's
But
that
it's
bottom.
nasty work. That's why it's really confusing why he's come out with that type of statement, seeing as he's in that world. Like it's
Yeah.
just very strange.
I don't really rate that Simon Jordan. I think for a little twerp that ran Crystal Palace almost into non-existence, he's got too much talk.
Yeah, of
Especially
course.
that his big success came from a bloody phone company that I think is defunct now, isn't it? So yeah, he's serious, man. I don't know how he's reinventing himself as some kind of analyst for all kind of sports as well, boxing, when he ain't never boxed himself. He's just a little twerp. I don't know how. You see the other day when he disrespected Derek Chisora. So surprised Derek Chisora took all that.
I know.
You've lost all your high level fights. You'll never be all this Andy Josh is psychologically damaged. He's finished. Yeah, so I don't know why he's got such a big opinion on these things, and they broadcast him as well. When a lot of his rhetoric is odious, to be fair, when it comes to politics and general society life. So just stick to the what you know, though, running the football clubs.
But you don't know how to run a football club, which is why he done what he did to Palace.
Yeah, yeah, of course, of
Right.
course.
He must be seething with the success they're having right now. Let's be real.
Yeah. Well, he tries to be magnanimous in public, and he says, "Oh, he's glad for them." But I think the current chairman, when they won the thing, he said, "Yeah, listen, my tenure is much better than yours."
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think that touched him up a bit. That touched him up, yeah, because he's trying to come in and run it like it was a phone company, isn't he? Yeah,
yeah,
he wasn't trying to run it for Crystal Palace to be successful. He was just thinking about bean counting and sustainability, and
yeah.
yet he never done anything with that. He still got them into trouble. Mm.
Yeah, I think I
Got them
saw it
into
in
bankruptcy.
I think I saw the interview with Eddie Hearn when Eddie Hearn kind of gave it to him about that. Of course,
Mm.
Eddie Hearn's obviously built up his company, so it's like this is how you do it. Essentially, it was kind of like thrown in his face, but
But to be fair
yeah,
though, Simon Jordan self-made, isn't it? That Eddie had his daddy.
yeah, that's what.
Yeah, I was already a big company when he was become the one of the chief executives. So yeah,
Yeah,
it was a different kind of thing. I wouldn't cast. That's one thing I give Simon Jordan. He's a man that take on the thing, created it, and took run with it himself. He didn't had no legacy put down, handed down to him. Yeah, but hopefully we can get there one day as a people. So there's not none of this envy, and we don't have to be going cap in hand to the masters. And oh, give us Black History Month. Give us some extra, local council funding for
it was very
services like
talking of
business
Black.
and
Yeah, but
administration.
talking of Black History Month, none of the corporates really did anything this year, did they? It
No, yeah, the advertisement of it has
was
not been
very,
really big.
yeah, very
Have you
small.
noticed it's been like this since Trump come to power? A lot of corporate companies are kind of let go of their DEI
Yeah, yeah,
departments.
yeah.
Yeah, and they say no, they've kind of dialed back as well on the LGBTQT thing. Yeah, it's been mad. So that tells you they weren't really into that in the first place themselves. They were just doing it because it was
It's,
legal.
it's trend. Yeah, the
Yeah,
trend.
it's trending. As soon as their politics favor that, you seen how many got rid of those kind of policies and departments. That's why I only deal with the ones that have kept it now.
Yeah,
Because I said, yeah, this is where you find out who's really care about those kind of issues and want to level up and make society fairer, more equitable than the ones that don't. So yeah, the Patriot March. I'm gonna go down to one of them though with my mate from Zero News and see what he's saying. I think he must have passed about incident though, because he would have messaged me or sent me some kind of video from today's Remembrance Sunday and said, yeah, there was trouble down there, but he must have passed with no trouble. Must have.
yeah.
Mm. So, what do you think the solution is going forward in how we counter this propaganda by the legacy media and obviously the right wing zealots?
Well, it's a tough one, man, because
Yeah.
I think some people are ideologically possessed, and I mean, obviously, we're trying to find a solution, but I don't think. See, like what you said about this, that the guy who went to Southampton. You have your differences. You
Mm.
say don't shy away, don't run away, or anything like that. You can both have respectful differences. I
Hmm.
don't think we live in a different age now where it's just about winning. You can't have debates, arguments in good faith.
Yeah,
People lie, manipulate, straw man, you name it.
yes, true.
So I don't even know, man. I really don't know. Not to sound cynical, but I can't. Yeah, what can you do? I mean, legacy media is declined. There's always going to be negative coverage, negative stuff's not it sells.
Mm, of
As for social media, I can't control what the next person puts out. You know what I mean?
course.
People, like I said, look, people's not interested in truth no more. Do you see what I mean?
Mm, I
I'll be
know.
real, you know. I can't. I don't have. It's hard for me to find a solution. I'm just saying. I'm just saying what it is. What it is out there, and just being aware of it. I'll be real. I don't have a solution. It sounds bad, so I don't know. I'd have to think about
Yeah,
that and
no,
come
it's
back to
not
you.
bad. It's not bad because if there was an easy solution, these things would have been eliminated hundreds of years ago, if not thousands.
Mm,
It seems to be human nature to have confirmation biases. And when they're struggling, instead of looking at themselves, they look at other communities and say, oh, why do they get that? Why they do this? They weren't born here. Or they don't look like they were born here. Did you see there even the other day, China, you know that podcast I done a couple of bits with? He put up a video of a woman telling me he's a black twat in public and saying F off back to your country and that. Yeah,
really?
Oh, white
so
woman.
yeah, by a woman. Yeah, I'll send it to you lot. I'll send it to you lot via WhatsApp. Yeah, he's
Oh,
trying. I know he's trying to make hay out of it though, but he's yeah, it's bad. She was full of chest as well with the chain staff there and security was there and she wouldn't back down. She wouldn't back down. Mm. Well, what we'll do, the next panel meeting, I'll get up the footage and we'll go through it. Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
cool.
That's the episode, latest episode over, people. And where there's people, there is power. Justice in our time.